I just wanted to address what you had said, Mike, about my response to the equality thing or being equal. And you was like, I danced around it. I don't think I danced around. I think I was clear about what I said. But maybe I need to say it another way, because your thing is, oh, well, since you said in your head, then that means you're not equal. So what I'm saying is we are equal in essence. I think we are equal in essence, but we may not be equal in responsibility. And those are two different things. And I think a lot of times what happens is when you guys are talking about um being the head, because I think your mindsets are always built around competition. Like you said, competition, who's the hierarchy? That's the way your mind works. And I think as females, our mind works more in a communal aspect in terms of working together and things like that. So I think when you guys are talking like that, for me, I'll just say for me specifically, what I hear is the projection of the way you guys interact with each other. Like it has to be a hierarchy of everything. So what I'm trying to say is in terms of men and women, we're equal in essence and in the very nature of who we are. Both of those things are equally important because it makes us us, right? So you're not better because you're a man, or I'm not better because I'm a woman. It is what it is. This is the essence of who we are. But in terms of responsibility, those things are different.
Yeah. No, I see what you're saying. It helps me understand the way you understand it. And I think I'm a struggle right now to see it because I'm a little hard headed. But I think I'll like run this back. But this is why I think it's important for us to understand this equality thing as individual. It helps the world run better when we understand it the way the Bible put it, right? God, man, woman, child. Like it helps it because when you, I'm not gonna say muddy the waters because that's actually a beautiful way to put it. I would say a woman should tell that to a bunch of girls so they never feel less than a man. But you should never say that to a man, what you just said, in my opinion. You know why? It's extremely hard for a man to understand his role because even though you said that we are equal in essence, you will still impose unique, dominant expectations upon him. And what do we have right now? We have a bunch of men who don't know how. I ain't gonna say they want to. They don't know how to rise to the occasion. They don't know how to be dominant. They've been told the woman is equal, so they don't even instinctually understand that. Is this where I'm supposed to come in? You can't tell a man that the woman is equal to him. You need to tell him this is your position and this is where you stand. You're right. Like this is how my dad he would put. You will die in defense of your life. You talk to boys like that. You give them the dominant position. You leave them there their whole life so they know their job in any circumstance. That's what I mean where I say we're not equal because I say that in not a demeaning sense. I have no lag. There's no lag in me knowing my job in any circumstance. Anything where I'm needed, I step in. But it's because I've been placed in that power position by the women, by my father, but also by the women my whole life. And that's where we need to place all boys. Let them know they're in front of you, not beside you, so they know that's where they need to stand in any circumstance. That's all I'm saying.
Do you
I
think
agree
we
with
do?
that. I agree with that whole argument. We're gonna wrap it up, but go ahead, Marky Mark, and then if anybody else has
Max, do you think we do a good enough job as men advocating how we're properly supposed to submit to God to other young men?
Nope.
Okay.
You asking me? Oh, sorry, I'm looking at this car. Please repeat that.
Do you think we do a good enough job as adult men or mature elders appropriately conveying the way we're supposed to submit to God and what that looks like as older men talking to younger men?
The second you mention God and men, that's one of the largest divides we have. Like men are no longer spiritual. So the older men aren't acknowledging that they need to teach that because they aren't spiritual or they weren't led spiritually. They've left the church. They don't seek that type of guidance. So it's no way they could have passed that message on to the youth. So it's a huge disconnect.
Great. All right, you guys. Can somebody read that? What happened?
Sir Shy 87, salute, dog, big dog with the $2. If women are not careful, they're gonna end up like Amanda Seals.
I don't
That
think
interview was bad.
Look, nobody. I hate when people, and I love Sir Chad. Thank you, Sir Chad, because it's not really a knock at you. But even with that comment, like, what is she ended up like? What is the alternative? Okay, let's go to the next video, and then I'm gonna bring that up because it kind of goes around with the next video. Okay, we kind of talked about it last week too, but y'all know I can't see it. Lord Jesus, help them out.
What do you think the challenge is that women are having, Black women in particular, when it comes to becoming a wife?
Keeping it 100,
Yes.
there's not enough eligible Black males who fit the needs of Black women. By the time you dissect the demographics of finances, sexual orientation, what you end up drilling down into, because Black women tend to want to marry Black men.
Right.
So Black women are excelling. They're getting accelerated degrees, graduate degrees, doctorate degrees. They're starting businesses. Black women are running circles around men.
Right.
And it's also shown in research that women want to marry on their same level of financial and educational status.
Yeah.
So if you're a Black woman making $150,000 a year with a master's degree, you tend to want to marry a Black man on that same level or higher. If Black women are excelling at such an accelerated rate, how do men keep up with that?
Just saw something that was weird on my thing. I don't agree with her on some of the stuff that she stated, but I'll let you guys go and I'll say what I don't agree with. But she's a dating coach, so.
I mean, we talk about this all the time, and even when, y'all had y'all little conversation with Marcus last week, the same conversation comes up. Needs to be this baseline. He need to be able to handle this circle, garner this amount of respect, make this amount of money, look this way, being able to have this amount of character and blah, blah, blah. Like, what women want ain't gonna change, even though men change, or even though the society has changed. Like, the idea of women being equal and stuff like that, like all of these extra nuances that gets added to the variance in the area, like, women are going to continue to experience as if, and in this case, Black women, they're going to continue to experience like there ain't enough out there, because what they expect to get is based upon, what any woman would want. You would want somebody that you will respect, somebody that's superior, just like what Trigger Mike was saying. You're subconsciously always looking for a guy that's doing better than you in some form. He either got to be able to teach you, he's got to be able to cover you, he's got to be able to protect you, he's got to be able to provide things that you can't provide yourself. And if you have effectively provided all the things that you want the guy to provide, then he has to provide what you provide plus more, which is the issue that the women keep seeming like they're running into. At least the women that's like, hey, I got to at least have this bare minimum thing in order for me to engage. But then when you ask the guys on the flip side, they're more likely to flip-flop and be like, hey, as long as you don't add stress and you add to my life, I'm more flexible in all of these other realms, as long as you are a true benefit to me, whether it's financial, educational. Because when brothers meet women that are like them and they cause stress, it's like, it's an immediate like, hey, ma'am, I understand you conquered the world, but you're not about to try to conquer me in this relationship.
So I disagree with that a little bit. I think men are just as inflexible in their standards as women are. When it comes to beauty standards, physical type, physical attractiveness, I think men are unyielding with that. And I don't think having standards is really an issue. I think it's important to have some, because otherwise people wind up in marriages that just aren't going to wind up working out. And that's not the goal either, right? To that clip, I do want to say that this idea of formal education is becoming antiquated. With the internet, with books, with all of the other options that men have to acquire intellect, people in general, really, to acquire intellect, and with higher learning establishments no longer being what they used to be as a marker of intellect, it doesn't mean that just because somebody doesn't have a master's degree and you do, that they're not your intellectual equal. And I think that's where people really go wrong. I hear a lot of blue collar men get a lot of flack, but blue collar men are some of the men who consistently make six figures. In fact, blue collar men across North America were the ones who made sure the economy didn't collapse during Rona, right? And I think once women, when I say we, I mean women, get out of their heads about what that means and what that looks like, I think it'll open up the opportunities for the partnerships with the standards that they have. It might not be amazing, it might not be astronomical, but I think it would create a larger pool than what currently exists for them.
This is a good question though, because I keep hearing that statement, but the blue collar workers I see, they all be having families. So it's not like they're not getting women. I'm confused here. When I see a UPS driver, trust me, he got kids. It's not like these men are not getting play, and these men, they probably get more. So I don't understand that argument.
I'm not saying that blue collar men don't. I'm talking about the women that are looking for the guy, the 666, right? The guy who's this tall, who makes this amount of money, who's this. But then, like, even the money has like this caveat of he needs to have a certain level of education. I'm not advocating against blue collar workers. What I'm saying is they make that amount of money that you're looking for.
Right. But what I'm saying to you is people are talking to blue collar workers. They're not lacking, I trust me. All of those women we're talking about has had a blue collar worker.
So,